I'm Dr. Yaron Seidman from the Hunyuan Academy. I want to tell you today about what we're doing in the Hunyuan Academy body track. In the body track, we are learning two different kinds of courses. One kind of courses is to do what we call build a frame, which is like building a house. And that includes all the different Tai Chi forms that we're learning, the 24, 48, Sanshou, Pao, Cannon, Fist. And then we have another type of courses which are aimed at learning content. That means we are adding specific skills into the frame. What I want to do today is to teach the first move of our Hunyuan Tai Chi 24 form. So we are building a frame. And then I also want to teach one aspect of the Hunyuan Neigong course, which is a content course. And then we will try to merge them together. Generally speaking, when we learn the frames, we learn different principles, how to move the body in accord with nature. And this involves few different principles to it. How to make circular motion correctly, how to align the body properly, how to create a connection with nature. This is all part of learning the frames. When we deal with the content courses, we are learning different kinds of skills called Gong. And this will involve the silk reeling skill or silk reeling Gong, and the Qi Gong, which means practicing the Qi or the intention. It involves the Fang Song Gong, the relaxation and expanding and extending of the ligament skill. It includes the Neigong, which is the inner cultivation, that is a cross line between the heart cultivation or heart practices and physical practices. So today I want to teach the first movement of the Hunyuan Tai Chi 24 form, which again will help us build the frame, even if we just know one movement. And then I want to learn or teach a little bit of the Neigong, which is the inner cultivation. It allows us to add content to the frame, which is related to the heart. So let's start with the first movement, the beginning form it's called, the first movement out of the 24 movements frame. And in this movement we have three different circles. So I'm standing with my head erect, my knees are very slightly bent, the hips are just a little bit bent, my body is upright. If you look at me from the side, the head is suspended from the rear, my knees are just a little bit bent, the hips are a little bit bent, the body is upright, not leaning sideways, forward or backwards. And the first circles that we're doing with both our hands in a very gentle and relaxed way, I bring both hands to the front and then up and then close to my body, and then I push my fingers straight forward to the front. If you look at me from the side, I bring both my wrists up to the front and then high above my head, and then I retrieve them to the side of my chest, and then I push the fingers forward. And this creates a circular motion, right? To the front, to the top, to the rear, and then to the front, back again. So again, let's do it again. This is the first circle of the movement. And then relax at the end, drop the hands to the sides of the body. Let's do it again. The second circle that we're doing, I first bring the hands to the rear, which means they climb to the sides of the body, and then to the top, going to the front, and then coming back, pulling both the base of the wrists, pulling them both towards my hips, and then relax the fingers down. If you look at me from the side, the first circle was going forward first, and then to the top, then to the rear, and then pushing the hands forward. I relax the hands back to the sides. The second circle goes in the opposite direction. First to the rear, which means my body side, then to the top, then to the front, and then I pull it back towards my hip joints. So let's do this 2 circles again, and then we will have 1 more circle. I start with the first one, my hands go to the front first, then to the top, and then to the side of my chest, finally pushing forward. Relax, drop the hands to the sides of the body. The second circle starts in the opposite direction. First to my body, to the sides of the chest, then to the top, then to the front, and finally pulling both my palms back towards my hips, to the sides of my hips. At the end, relax, go back to a relaxing pose. Again, let's do both circles from the side view. First circle to the front, to the top, and to the rear. Finally pushing forward. Relax. And then the opposite direction, first to the rear, to the top, to the front, and finally pulling back. At the end, relax. The third circle goes in the same direction as the first one, but whereas in the first one we went to the front, to the top, to the rear, and at the end we pushed forward, in the third circle we do exactly like the first one, to the front, to the top, to the rear, but at the end I'm pressing down. So instead of going with the fingers forward, my palms now at the end of the third circles are pressing down. If you look at it from the side, the first circle I finished by pushing forward, and the third circle, not the second, the third circles I did exactly the same thing, but I ended up with pressing both my palms down instead of pushing it forward. So this is the first thing out of the different principles that we have in learning the frame, right? The frame of the physical exercise that we do with the Tai Chi forms. The first principle is to learn how to do circular motion. This is the principle that everything in the universe goes in circles, and a circle has an endless potential, no beginning, no end, and it revolves in endless potential. And we start learning with the frame how to move my body in circular motion. So do these 3 circles right at the beginning, and of course throughout the forms we have many circles, but just learning that in isolation, without moving the rest of the body, without stepping, just standing and doing 3 circles, start to help us build the first principle of the Tai Chi form, which is knowing how to go in a circle and gradually connect to the what we call the Tai Chi principle. The universal Tai Chi principle means that everything in the universe revolves in circles, doesn't have beginning and an end, and has infinite power or infinite potential. Of course, when we build our frame in that way, and there are other principles to learn in it as well, but when we build the frame in this way, this gradually has a tremendous effect, specifically what we're looking for to learn in the Hunyuan Academy, which is being happy, healthy, and having long life. Having a frame of exercise where these universal principles are included, like circular motion and other things that we learn, gradually will increase the heart happiness, the body's health, and also the ability to unify and recharge, which is our life potential, how long we could live, and every moment how strong the life is. So without talking more about the frame, again, there are many things that we learn in the frame, in the Tai Chi courses. This is the first principle, to learn the 3 circles. So let's do it just a couple of times. The 3 circles. The first circle, and then relax. At the end of each circle, I go back to a place we call Wuji, or emptiness. So I just relax, empty my mind, calm my body. The second circle, then relax. The third circle, finally relax again. Let's do it one more time from the front. The first circle, Relax, back to Wuji. The second circle. Relax. And finally the third circle. Okay, perfect. So now we learned the first principle in the frame, and we have already learned one movement that we can practice. We don't need to practice many movements, just need one movement to give us a frame. And the second thing that I want to teach today is some content, and this content comes from the Neigong, from the inner Gong course. And the inner Gong means how to make the heart connect to the body. And there are different aspects to it and a few different principles that we learned there. Today I want to learn one principle that we can then merge with the one movement that we learned in the frame. So when we do Gong, we want to connect the lower abdomen area we call Dantian to the heart, and then connect the heart to the physical movement in the body. So we start by putting the hands, palms facing up, at the bottom of the abdomen, at the bottom of the trunk. And then I take a deep breath, and as I'm breathing in, I'm bringing my hands up, and I'm also thinking, as my hands are coming up, I'm thinking, or I'm focusing my intention from the lower abdomen to come up to the heart or to the center of the chest. So I breathe in, and intentionally now I'm concentrating my mind on the chest. Then I turn my palms to face down, and as I'm exhaling, I'm breathing out, I'm allowing my hands to become heavier. They drop down, and with the hands as they go down, my intention, like what I'm thinking of, is now dropping with the hands down, sinking deep, deep, deep back into Dantian, which is the lower abdomen area. So I do this in a very slow way, very controlled way. I start from the bottom, I breathe in, and I raise my intention to the heart. I turn my palm down, I breathe out, and I sink my intention to Dantian. Again, changing the palm up, breathing in. Changing the palm down, breathing out, and sinking my intention. Breathing in, raising the intention, breathing out, sinking my intention. You can close your eyes or just have them half closed, to try not to look around and think about other things, but rather we're looking internally into the heart and the Dantian. Breathe in, I'm looking into my heart. Breathing out, I'm looking into my lower abdomen, Dantian area. Breathe in, and breathe out. Okay, so this is the first part of the first principle. The second part is I want my intention now from the heart, not only coming from the lower abdomen area to the heart, but I want it to reach all the way to my fingers and even extend beyond my body. So now we do this exercise. I breathe out without doing the hand movements. I breathe out and I sink my intention. I'm just showing you with my hand so you see where it's going. I sink my intention into the lower abdomen. And then I breathe in and I allow my intention to float up to the heart, or to rise, to surface up to the heart. And as I breathe in, I also now stretch my elbow out to the right side, and I start to practice how my intention from the heart goes to my shoulder, and from the shoulder it goes out to my right elbow that just stretched to the right. At the same time, I'm changing my gaze. I'm looking now at the elbow. This helped my intention to go to the elbow. Then I breathe out and I sink back into Dantian. So we're doing the same thing that we just did before, but instead of just going from Dantian to the heart, I now start to expand my intention to go into my limbs, starting short just by going to the elbow. I breathe out, sink to Dantian. I breathe in, I go to the heart. I raise my elbow and I look at it, and I allow my thought, my intention now to go all the way to my elbow. Still breathing in, and then I breathe out. I sink my elbow, I look forward, I allow my intention to sink back to Dantian. Next, expanding on it, not only do I raise my elbow, but after I raise my elbow, I also stretch my hand out, and I allow my intention from the elbow to go all the way to the center of my palm. So again, I breathe out, I sink into Dantian, I breathe in, go up to the heart, to the shoulder, to the elbow, and all the way to the center of the heart. There's an area called Neigong in Chinese, which is the center of the palm. I allow my intention to go all the way to the center of the palm. I breathe out, all my intention withdraw, go back to Dantian. And I'm looking forward again. Before I was looking to the right, now I'm looking forward. Again, breathe in. Shoulder, elbow, center of the palm. Breathe out, sink back into Dantian. Let's do the left hand. Breathe in to the heart. Intention goes to the heart, to the left shoulder, to the left elbow, to the left center of the palm. Breathe out, sink the intention back to Dantian. Again, the left side. Breathe out. And now, of course, we can do both hands. From Dantian, I go to the heart and I go to both shoulders, both elbows, and both sides, center of the palms. Again, breathe out, sink to Dantian. Breathe in to the heart, to the shoulder, to the elbow, to the center of the palm. Breathe out, sink back to Dantian. Let's do it one more time. From Dantian to the heart, I'm breathing in, extending and expanding outward to the shoulder, to the elbow, to the center of the palm. Breathe out, sink back into Dantian. Alright, so now we learned in the Neigong course just the first principle of reaching from the Dantian to the heart all the way to the center of the palm, and then going back to Dantian. Now let's add this piece of content to the piece of frame that we just learned at the beginning, the 3 circles that we learned at the beginning. So now, instead of just doing the circles, every time when I start the circle, I first sink into Dantian, I go out to the heart, and then I go to the shoulder, to the elbow, to the hands, and then the circle extends all the way in the Neigong. My intention is going in the Neigong, doing the circle, and then when I relax, not only I relax my mind, my heart, and my body, but all the intention withdraw and sinks back to Dantian, and this is called relax. So again, when we do the circle, the first movement of my hand as it stretches out, I'm breathing in, I'm going to the heart, to the shoulder, to the elbow, and to the wrist, all the way until I finish the movement. It doesn't matter which circle it is. Just at the end, when I relax, I breathe out and I withdraw all my intention to sink into Dantian. So let's do this a couple of times, doing the first movement of the frame, but also adding this content that we just learned from the inner gong, from the Neigong skill. Again, from Dantian to the heart, to the shoulder, to the elbows, and to the palms, I'm doing the first circle. Breathe out, withdraw the intention, sinking it back to Dantian. Second circle, going from Dantian to the hands. That was the third circle. So again, let's start from the beginning. First circle. Back to Dantian. Second circle. First out to the hands. Exhale, back to Dantian. Third circles, first to the hand. Relax, back to Dantian. Again, from the beginning, we do the first circle. Relax, intention back to Dantian. Second circle. Back to Dantian. Third circle. And back to Dantian. When we finish the exercise, we just cover our Dantian, put both hands, the center of the palm covering each other, meaning the center of the left palm cover the center of the right hand at the back of it, covering the Dantian, which is right below the belly button. Keep your intention on Dantian. Breathe naturally, calmly. Empty the mind, calm the heart. Sink into Dantian. Okay, thank you everyone for joining me today. Today we learned one movement from the Hunyuan Tai Chi 24 form. The first movement, building a frame. We also learned one move or one aspect of the Hunyuan Neigong course, learning content, how to connect the heart to the body, how to connect the heart to physical movement. And actually by learning these two things, we learned something which is quite wonderful, and if we just practice this even without many other things that we could learn in the Hunyuan Academy, I think the health benefits, the heart benefit, and the longevity benefits are quite tremendous. So I hope you enjoy it, I hope you get to practice it, and maybe I'll see you in the Academy in one of the courses.